Sweet.
All right, there we
So
go.
who
We
here
are now
uses
live.
Dropbox?
I've
I
never used Dropbox.
I use Dropbox quite a
You use
bit.
Dropbox?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
thing I
Do you
like,
like it, Thomas? How do you use it?
What's that?
What do you use it for?
Um, I played in a band a little while ago, and they had some um, recordings from the studio that the producer or whatever he's called sent to them, and so I use that a lot to listen to their tracks on there to practice and whatnot. But
that's dope.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this
I
is.
there's
have uh, I have a colleague, a guy I work with. He uses Dropbox like intensively. His whole computer's backed up on Dropbox.
oh wow,
Um, so if he ever switches devices or switches computers, he just has to log into his Dropbox account, and bam, he's got all of his information there. So, like, you have to pay about $100 a year.
oh wow, it's
I
not
don't
too
know. Yeah,
bad.
Dropbox. It's pretty cool. What you can. It's like
It's basically a
$5 a
cloud.
month.
It's basically like a cloud essentially, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like a
Kind of like Google Drive,
storage in a
right?
cloud where you can put all of your information in. You can also compare it to like Google Docs, right? How
That's
you
what
can
I was
save
thinking.
files in Google Docs.
That's what I was thinking.
So
That
Yeah.
it was
it's
similar to that.
yeah, it's very comparable to that. So if you use Google Docs heavily, you could go to another computer, log into Chrome, and log into your Google account,
Yeah.
and have all of that information on any computer too.
Like that's one thing I still have access to at work is my Gmail and Google Docs. So I'm always on there trying to get homework done to make sure that I can get it done with all the time that I don't have.
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
Okay,
Well, let's dive
so
into these
let's.
questions.
The first question. Yeah, go ahead, Spencer.
So we have the mix of questions. We have the group questions that's on the discussion board instructions, and then there's also, well, are we going to go over the case analysis, the prep assignment? Are we going to go over those or?
So from what I understood, there's 4 questions that we need to actually discuss over the video.
Yeah.
And then, okay. Does
Okay.
that ring a bell?
Yeah. So then so that first one is the Dropbox is a late mover in a in a crowded space. What opportunity did Houston see? Specifically, what are the key elements of Dropbox's current business model?
So I've got 4 different questions. Oh, so there's the
That's the first.
individual ones and the
So
group.
there's the
Okay, I see what
so
you're saying.
there's the prep assignment that you have to be. It says prepare for your group discussion by answering the following questions. So I don't necessarily know if we have to answer these or if
Those
it's
are the
the
ones
one
that I have currently.
because there's also the discussion board questions. Because there's also a handful of discussion board questions as well for the group.
So for the group questions, your group hangout must record discussing response to the following questions in detail. And then it lists how much revenue does Dropbox have, how
Okay,
profitable
yeah.
is Dropbox.
Okay, yeah. So then let's go over those at least first, and then maybe to put a little more time on it, we can go over those other ones from the prep assignment later. Then.
Okay.
All right. How much
So revenue.
does Dropbox have? Well, that kind of really depends on the year you're looking at, because it does talk about a
So,
handful of years.
well, that's true. I was just
2010.
basing it off of 2010. That
Yeah.
freemium, did you get the freemium assignment or whatever?
Mhm. Well, that one, the premium assignment that was talking more about, what their overall profit was. What they're looking for is just the revenue, what they're getting in annual sales. And in 2010, it says they're between 10 and 15 million dollars in annual revenue.
That's what I got.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah, not
But then,
profit, but revenue.
yeah, so that would be that's what I got that's what I found. I'm trying to find where that spot is because it's towards the end, but not quite there. Yeah, so it's on page 9, the second paragraph in. Um,
Yeah.
It says analysis estimated 2 to 3% of Dropbox's users were paying customers, which implied a 10 to 15 million dollar annual revenue run rate in the mid 2010.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's for what that company was doing at the time with all the space, especially that's when a lot of us, like that was right before I left on my mission, and so that's when everyone really started to get big into iPhones and tablets and things along those lines. So a cloud style Dropbox like this was kind of coming into a hugely crowded market just because of what everything's turned into. No one can live without the cloud these days. Can't imagine trying to get that started, especially already in a crowded space.
Yeah. I think something that they did good is they kind of hit a market of more the individual user, and then obviously branched out to more enterprise. But I know when Dropbox came out, a lot of people were just using it for like personal stuff, and they got a lot of users that way. But obviously, I think it shows that not a lot of those users were paying users, and that's why it hurt, and it took them a while to become profitable because they had a lot of users, but not a lot of them were paying users, and that's what really hurt them. And they needed the paying users through like the businesses.
Yeah, it was really funny to read that they were trying to hide the free option through different schemes and things on the website. That was pretty funny to see
Yeah.
they tried to do that.
Kind of like Spotify. They make it super hard for students to see that the $5 version, if you're a student, you have to like go online and Google it and then find some link, and then you can sign up and you can get Spotify for $5 a month if you're a student instead of 10.
Really, I had no idea.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Spotify premium user. I love it, but I only pay $5. That's
There
why
you
I'll
go.
stay a student for life.
There you go. Just for that reason, and the $45 Amazon Prime, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, do we get $45 Amazon Prime?
It's $45 as long as you're a student for Amazon Prime. 49, excuse me.
Yeah, I gotta
Get a
sign up.
25 discount at AT&T. That's what I used to work at
There you go.
AT&T.
Dang.
Really good. A lot of the other schools, they like FSU's got 17%, so we're doing pretty good.
That's sweet.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
All right, so to the next question.
What's the next question?
How profitable is Dropbox? So kind of with the video
That's an interesting question.
yeah, it's
Go
kind
ahead.
of, I went through and kind of did a similar model to what was shown in that video. So it was saying about 2 to 3% of Dropbox users were paying customers, and right about that time they were at about 2.8 million users. So I went through and kind of broke it down the way they did in the video from paying and non-paying users, and then right there where they talk about the revenue, they talk about the different pricing on the different styles of users. So the paying users were costing about $3.18 a month, and the free users were costing about 11 cents a month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fun.
So as you broke it down, and then it said to use about $150,000 per worker per what was it? What was the phrase he used? The FTE, the full-time equivalent.
Full-time employee. Yeah.
Yeah, the full-time employee, the full-time equivalent. I put 10. I wasn't sure basically at that point how many there was, but it talked a couple of years before they had how many, like 8 or so. So I put it at 10. I put it at 10 and puts them at a revenue at right around $10.5 million in revenue.
Okay. I'm trying to see what I put.
That's what I got. I don't mean to dominate the conversation, but that's what I was showing.
I just put like
For some reason I think I put
10 to 15.
70 employees, but I have that they weren't profitable yet. Is that what you guys have? Like they weren't making money yet?
I had that they were, because they had the 800, so they had 2.8 million dollars, or 2.8 million users. 3% of those were paying, and 97% were free users. So when you break it down, the variable costs were about. Did it say how many? Because I could understand where if you had. Because I understand if you had 70 employees, where they wouldn't be profitable. But I
I'm
don't
trying
think
to
they had that
think
many
about
employees. But yeah, they.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Where is that part in the article?
That it said they had 70 employees, or
Where's the 2010 part? What page is that on? Page
that's
11?
page 11. The page 9.
Page
It
9,
talk.
okay. At
It
the
talks about.
bottom.
It's at the top because the page.
Oh, okay, I see. Yep.
Yeah, up towards the top, you see that they talked about their two millionth user, but a little bit later they talk about 2.8, and that's why I went with that number. And then yeah, so at the bottom of the page they talk about having in April of 2010 they had 2.8 million users.
2.8 million paying users.
Oh no, excuse me, there's
So it
4
talks
million
about 4
users.
million users.
Excuse me, I read that wrong. It's 4 million users.
Yeah, and then 2 to 3% of those are paying.
Yeah.
And so I got that they're still
Okay, I
in the
see it.
negative. Let me pull up my notes real quick.
Because if there's 4 million users, you're going to have, they talked about I did on profit, they said they were between 10 and 15, so I did it 12.5 in revenue. So that's where I kind of based it off of that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't even get that because it said they were having like 10 to 15 million. I got from the math I did in the freemium that they only had 7,200,000 and that they were spending 9,700,000 each year.
I
But I'm
think you
trying
might
to
have
remember how I got all that.
the variable cost might have been close to that. If you had that $4 million mark, the variable cost was about $800,000.
Yeah, my total variable is 9,700 or 9,700,000.
I don't know where you got that 9 from. I don't know where you got
Yeah.
9 million from because there's only 100 with the $4 million mark. You're looking at 120,000 paid users, and then the rest obviously and then 3.88 million free users, and they're still looking at relatively low cost to maintain them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
They were
lost.
they were well, from what I can see they were hugely profitable. I don't see how they were still losing money, especially with how big they are. If they were losing that much money in 2010 and how long the company, I don't think it would exist today.
When did they start?
They started about 07, I want to say.
There's a
06,
very high
07.
chance that they were not profitable yet. There's a lot of startups that aren't profitable
That's
yet.
true. That's true.
I mean, there's companies that go 6 years just living off venture capital before they even become
Yeah.
profitable. Actually, I take that back. The last startup I was with, they've been going for 11 years and they're not profitable yet.
Oh wow, that's rough. I don't know how they're still getting
Like
investments.
the thing is, they're still doing fine though. They're getting great. They just brought in 40 million in funding
Dang.
because the potential that they have to get acquired or go public. A lot of companies spend money to make money, and so in order to make 50 million in sales this next year, they've got to hire X amount of people. They've got to have these software engineers. So it just costs so much to build a company that oftentimes companies do not become profitable. Some don't even ever become profitable before they're acquired.
So what are you pulling up?
I'm trying to. I don't know. My math is all messed up for this one though.
So what I got is that the 4 million users, and you have 3% of those puts you at 120,000 paying users. And then for free users, you have 3,880,000 paid users. Revenue putting them about 12.5 million. So for your paying users, you're getting for the 120,000 paying users, you're spending 3.18,
3, yeah.
and then so that puts
And
you at
then
about
number of pain is 120,000, right?
yeah. So that's 3% of
And so
that's
you
3.
if you
Sounds
multiply
good to me.
that
By the 3.18, it's going to put you
and then
at.
times it by 12,
That's what I
puts
did
you at
wrong.
4
There you go.
million.
There you go. That's what I did wrong. Okay, I forgot to multiply it by 12, but it doesn't say whether it's monthly or not. I think that's where I got backed up.
Yeah.
You're right though. It's probably monthly.
So monthly is $4,579,200 that they're spending monthly.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I see where I have my goof up.
And so
That's
I
still
have the variable cost 9,700,000. So up top, the $/sub. What's that? I'm trying to remember what that meant. I
how
don't
many
know.
how many employees are we looking at this point though? Because at the beginning they were talking about 8 to 10 employees. I don't think they would have grown that much. Give me my charger, please. Actually, don't worry about it. I should be fine. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. If you were putting 70 employees, yeah, they would definitely not be profitable at that point.
Yeah, but I don't know how many employees. I'm reading another like a Prezi presentation that talks about it as well. It's
Uh-huh.
based a lot off the article,
Yeah.
and this is saying that Dropbox in April 2010 had 4 million users with 2.8 million direct referral invites, which is all taken from our article, which
Yeah.
implies a 10-15 million revenue run by mid 2010. We feel they will be profitable in June 2010. They're on track to have a $240 million revenue with only 70 staffers in 2011.
Yeah.
Houston was able to raise a total of $257 million in capital from investors. The number of users increasing is now. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many numbers in here.
Yeah. I think it really can go depend on what
They're
if
definitely
they.
on track to be profitable, but I'm having a hard time seeing if they're exactly profitable right now.
I think
But does it say how many employees, like you were talking about?
it doesn't talk about the number of employees that they have at the beginning of 2010. It does talk about a little bit about having like 8 employees, but
Yeah,
that's
that's all I've been able to find is 8.
yeah.
Like anything higher than that's not in the article.
And then they were in that one assignment we did. We were supposed to put a salary of 150,000,
per
and
per
that told
employee.
us. And that told us how many employees?
It didn't say.
That didn't even tell us. Okay.
No. So I think it all really comes down to kind of making a guesstimate at it, and I would put it at somewhere between 10 and 15. But 10 and 15 people
Okay.
for 4 million subscribers, it's not a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So if it's at that 10 to 12 employee or 10 to 15 employee rate, yeah, they're easily profitable.
Yeah.
But much more than that, like if they were to have, let's see, about 20. So yeah, so if they have 20 employees, that's when they start hitting negativity. But still at 18
Yeah.
employees, you're still positive.
So hopefully they increase revenue as they ramp up.
Yeah.
You know
So I
they're
think
now like a over 1,000 employee company.
that's huge.
I was looking on LinkedIn because I looked up Houston on LinkedIn. He's still the CEO. He hasn't left or anything.
No, if he's doing the numbers that he's doing, I wouldn't leave either.
But it's crazy because a lot of times, like they'll either go public or get acquired, then the CEOs or something, they'll cash out and just go on to their next gig.
Yeah.
But he's staying at it.
But yeah, so assuming that it sticks around that 15 employee mark, they're profitable. Just barely at $500,000, but they're profitable.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Next
Let's
question.
go with that.
All right. Is this a problem? Yes or no? Talk about both answers. Well, obviously, like, we kind of talked about it, kind of discussing like if they weren't profitable, obviously there's a reason behind it, and if the company's still going, obviously people find an interest in it. So I don't think either way it'll be a big deal. As long as they're making their investors money, I think they'll stay alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they just have to be like forecasted to continue to grow, and see how like the market's doing. But yeah, I think we kind of discussed all that in our long debate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll read what Drew said for question 3. Houston proposed that his product will eliminate the need to carry around disks or USB drives and allow a person to back up or access files from any computer. I think he has been able to keep his business model going and able to improve the product without losing sight of why he started the business and sticking to being simple and good. I think he did a great job testing his hypothesis. He took it to the people who would use his product, listened to them, and adjusted accordingly. I'm not quite sure what question he was responding to.
That's for the case study questions.
Yeah, I think that's for the case study questions, not the discussion board questions. Like the initial ones I was
Gotcha.
talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Those are the ones he provided to us.
Yeah. So next question: should Dropbox develop a professional version to attract more valuable customers? I think that would probably be a big move for them. And if they were, it would take a lot of definitely working capital to make sure that happened.
I think it would work out well.
It would work out great. It would be a tough startup, I think.
Yeah, I don't know like big enterprises that use Dropbox for their cloud backup and whatnot.
Because you have to think that the majority of them are going to be needing a little more than 100 gigabytes of space.
Yeah, I mean now you can get like a terabyte and stuff and more, but at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I think it, because at first my answer was yes, but the more I think about it, I think they should continue to capitalize in the smaller market.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where they have more of a niche and less competition.
Very true. Because definitely.
But I don't know.
The way I don't know. I've never really kind of gone depth into using the cloud from Apple, but I don't understand it. So I think having something a little more simple to use, something along the lines of Google Docs or Dropbox, yeah, it would really help keep that sector of it, but kind of make it a branch of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It would definitely sell, definitely be marketable, but whether or not they can handle it, like you're saying, that's a lot of storage for professional companies and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to make money in the small market too. Like I know in the company I'm with right now, like we're trying to now go for larger clients just because the smaller clients, like they're great, they're easier to sell, but they just don't give you as much money as the bigger clients, Yeah. And so I think that's like the tricky part as well, is finding that balance and then excelling there.
Yeah. Yeah, but this was a good one. I accidentally started reading ahead. I started reading the Rent the Runway one. That one will be rather interesting because we're a group of guys, but it's kind of got a very simple, very straightforward background. Kind of like renting dresses, similar to like Netflix, how they used to rent DVDs. It's something similar to that. So it'll be interesting to see how that's all going to work out.
Rent a dress.
Yeah, it's Rent the Runway is what is the company's name. I haven't looked at their
Nice.
stuff yet, so it'll be an interesting case study. It's a longer one like this one was, so but it should be good stuff.
It's longer than as
Uh,
this. It's
it's about
the
as
same
long.
as this one, you said.
Yeah, it's about the same as this one. It's just
Yeah.
gonna take a minute to get through all the information.
Nice.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Well,
Well, when do we want to plan to try to meet later this week? For me, like with the end of the month is going to be a little bit harder for me this month, just because I have to work. I have to work overtime, and Saturday I have to work all day, and I'm working extra hours all week. I don't know if you guys want to try to plan to do Sunday night like we did. If you guys are cool with that, or if we want to try to shoot for Saturday evening, if you guys are cool with that. I don't know what you guys want to do.
Sunday works.
Sunday works.
yeah, Sunday works for me. Let's just do that.
Sunday, do you want to do 8 o'clock or do you want to do 7 o'clock like this?
Um,
7 probably better.
yeah,
7, oh,
7.
for you, yeah, for you, because you're out in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's shoot for 7 then. Let's put it up on the group chat, and then plan for Sunday night at 7, and then it looks like we're gonna have to do 2 of these a week, so we'll just have to figure out times because I have a couple of classes that I'm gonna have to do a couple of these for. So
Okay. I'm flexible, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm only taking 2 classes this semester. So I'm fairly flexible.
I think we'll just kind of read it as the week goes.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right, I'll stop the recording.
Thanks, guys.